Recording.
ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ. So today we will start from mantra 7 onwards, and we are looking at the last couple of mantras talking about phala of the result of knowledge as Jivan Mukti and Jivan Mukti into Videha Mukti. So now Upanishad is concluding and talking of Videha Mukti. गताः कला पंचदश प्रतिष्ठाः देवाश्च सर्वे प्रतिदेवतासु कर्माणि विज्ञानमयश्च आत्मा परे व्यये सर्व एकी भवन्ति. Okay. So गताः कलाः पंचदश प्रतिष्ठाः देवाः च सर्वे प्रतिदेवतासु कर्माणि विज्ञानमयः च आत्मा परे अव्यये सर्वः एकी भवन्ति. So what happens when this wise person's body drops? So what happens to his sukshma sharira? What happens to his karma, etc.? That is being said. That how that individual, which is composed of the 15 kalas, and this is said that so like we said before, that Mundaka Upanishad and Prashna Upanishad are Mundaka is the mantra Upanishad and Prashna Upanishad is the expansion of this same Upanishad. So it is called Brahmana Upanishad. So this Panchadasha Kalaha, the same concept we find in Prashna Upanishad, that there are 16 kalas. This individuality is composed of 16 kalas, and we find that same concept here as well. So the 15 parts of this upadhi, of this personality, where does it go? It goes to its source. So the 15 parts of which this upadhi is made, their very source where they merge, all these merge into their own sources. So gataha kalaha panchadasha pratishtaha devaha cha sarve pratidevatasu. And so since this individuality is there, so it invites the different devatas, meaning we have part of adhisthana devata in our personality. We have the anugraha of the different adhisthana devata, like we are able to see because of the adhisthana devata of eyes, of vision, that is Surya, Aditya. We are able to hear, so this is Tattva Bodh, remember? Tattva Bodh. So how important Tattva Bodh is? So how our personality, our individual personality is composed of this parts or grace of this Adhisthana Devata, Adhidaiva. And so what happens when the body drops? So when the body drops, not only the 15 parts merges into its own sources, the devataha, the adhidevata also, they merge back into their respective sources. So so the adhisthana devata of eyes would go back to its source, which is Aditya, which is Surya. Like that, it would go to their own respective devatas. So this is taken care, so the individuality is taken care of, the upadhi is resolved into its source, and the devatas which were doing anugraha on this individuality, they are also resolving into their own respective sources. Now the Atma, which is reflected, now what happens to the karma? and Vijnanamaya, that is being talked. So, Atma, which is reflected in the Buddhi, all actions, and the Atma which is reflected in the Buddhi, and all actions, they merge in the Supreme. Okay, I am not able to connect that particular sentence right now. How we should understand is karmani pare, karmani pare eki bhavanti. So karmani, all the actions, they are resolved in Atma basically. And Vijnanamayaha is this Atma which is reflected. Okay, got it. So two things are being resolved, right? Karmani, all the actions, and Vijnanamayaha. So what is Vijnanamayaha? Vijnanamayaha is the what we call Chidabhasa, or the reflection of consciousness in the body, in the buddhi, in the intellect, in the mind. That is called Vijnanamaya. So both of these are what they merge in the supreme, they merge in the imperishable, or they merge in Brahman. Actions and Vijnanamaya Atma merge in Brahman. So different sources of merging are mentioned here. This is what Swamiji said. The kalas, meaning the parts of the upadhi, they merge into the respective sources. Then the adhidevata, which function through our body, they merge into their respective totality of the adhidevata, and the karma and Vijnanamaya Atma, they merge in Brahman. So now this is further explained. So I'm just going to read couple of important notes which I have documented. The presiding deities merge into their respective cause, as we already discussed. Then what is created from Mahamaya? The Ishvara Srushti. So Ishvara Srushti merges back into it, and what is created from Jiva Srushti, Vijnanamaya, does not remain. So see, the Adhisthana Devata is what we are able to see because of the blessing of Adhisthana Devata. What is that? That is part of Mahamaya, that is part of Ishvara Srushti. So that those aspect goes back into Ishvara Srushti, and it goes back into the totality. But what about the Jiva Srushti? What is the Jiva Srushti? This is I, this is mine, all these notions, false notions. So, what is created from Jiva Srushti, Vijnanamaya, what happens to that? They do not remain at all. So, the Jiva Srushti gets destroyed, the false notions or the Brahma gets destroyed, whereas the Ishvara Srushti, the individuality merges back into totality. So it's returning. Who's returning? The Jiva's returning is not a process or a change involved. Only knowledge is involved that such an entity as reflection is not there. As the entity is not real, it is imaginary. Therefore, there is total merging as far as this Jiva is concerned. Whereas, where there is an entity, such as the Adhisthana Devata, so it is an effect. So that effect merges into the cause, into the totality, involving no residue. So it does not leave any residue behind, and so once that individuality merges back into totality, then it's not that this wise person have to come back. And karma and Vijnanamaya's merging is such a merging where there is no residue left. Whereas the Kala's merging, okay, so two things. So so Swamiji emphasized this, that there are two kind of merging that we are seeing here. One merging is such that there is no residue left, and the other merging is such that it leaves some residue. Uh, Meaning one merging is such that there is total destruction, there is total loss of you know there is total oneness. The other merging is the merging of an effect into the cause. So, where Ishvara Srushti will come, there we will have the effect merging into the cause, like the Adhisthana Devata going back to the totality. Whereas, where Jiva Srushti is concerned, it is going to merge without leaving any residue. Okay. So, now coming to the Bhashya. अपि च अविद्या आदि संसार बंध अपनयनम एव अपि च अविद्या आदि संसार बंध अपनयम एव मोक्षम इच्छन्ति ब्रह्मविदः न तु कार्यभूतम्. And also the wise, who is the wise? Brahmavidah, the knower of Brahman. Icchanti, desires. Now, what does he desire? Moksham, he desires moksha. What kind of moksha? It's defined. Avidya adi sansara bandha apanayam. Moksha, which is in the form of apanayam, elimination of bandha, of bondage, in the form of samsara, in the form of this sansara, beginning with adi, samsara, adi meaning beginning, sansara beginning with or beginning from avidya, kama, karma, etc., raga, dvesha, abhinivesha. So, apicha, and also the wise, Brahmavidah, the knower of Brahman, moksha michanti, desiring moksha, or who desires moksha. What kind of moksha? The moksha which is elimination of bondage in the form of the sansara, beginning from ignorance, and natu karyabhutam, and which is not some effect of karma phala, which is not a result of karma phala, which is not karyam, which is not something created. So, this kind of moksha which is not karyam, which is not created, meaning it is nitya praptah, it is an existing fact that I need to own up, and it is not something that I need to create through some karma or meditation, etc. So, this kind of moksha which the Brahmavidah, the knower of Brahman, the wise, they desire. What about that? Or they desire this kind of moksha, not something that is created. They know that moksha is it is not something to be achieved, it is something to be known. Kincha, moreover, or furthermore, moksha kale, at the time of moksha, ya deha arambikaha kalaha prana adayaha. Here, at the time of moksha, deha, meaning what? During videha mukti, when the apparent limitation of the body, deha arambikaha kalaha, when the apparent limitation of the body also does not remain, deha arambikaha kalaha, which are what? Beginning from prana, etc. So, these what are those kalas? They are listed in Prashna Upanishad, and Swamiji did go through all those kalas in the lecture, which I have not documented here for now. But the Bhashya, in the Bhashya, it starts with Prana Adayah. So, the first kala is Prana. So, it begins with Prana, it ends in Nama. That much I am going to say, but you can listen to the lecture for all the details. But all these kalas, what happens to that? which are Deha Arambikaha, which are all these kalas, they became the cause for the Arambikaha, for the creation of the body. So what happens to all these prana adayah kalaha, which were the cause or which are the cause of a particular body or a body? What happens to that? Taha swam swam pratishtam gataha swam swam karanam gata bhavanti ityarthah. So all those kalas, swam swam pratishtam, they go back to their respective cause. So the 15 kala from which the body is created, all of them goes to their respective sources, cause or sources. Gataha, they become one, having merged back into the respective sources. Swam swam karanam to their own cause. Gata bhavanti, meaning they go to their own, they resolve in their respective cause, meaning their cause, namely the subtle elements. So all components merge into their respective causes. Let us see any notes if I have written. So yes, so when apparent limitation of body also does not remain from the standpoint of the onlookers. So Videha Mukti, Jivan Mukti, all this differentiation is from the standpoint of what? Agnani. For a Gnani, the Jivan Mukti and Videha Mukti, that kind of difference doesn't remain, because the Satya Mithya, that part, it doesn't remain. It's that distinction. There's no further difference in Satya and Mithya as far as he is concerned. He is basically abiding in the truth. So paranta kalaha, so for Gnani, then what happens? There is no aparanta kala. There is no further, he doesn't have to be born again. Right? Okay, so then what does pratishtaha iti dvitiya bahuvachanam? So I think this is just grammar. So pratishtaha is to be understood as second case plural. Why? Pratishta being the place where the kala goes. So what is pratishta? Pratishtaha is the cause. Going back, let us go back. Taha swaha pratishtagataha. Where do they go? Swaha pratishtaha, to their source. So what is taha? Prati purvak stha dhatu. So that in which one something abides. Where does something abide? From where it originated, from where whatever sustains that thing, and into which that thing merges. So that is pratishta. Pratishta is the abiding factor, the swarupa. Where would one, what could be something's pratishta? One's swarupa. One's swarupa, one's nature would be that in which that thing, that entity would abide. So pratishtam. Sorry, I just had to explain that word. So pratishta is to be understood as second case plural. Pratishta being the place where the kalas go. Further, panchadasha sankhyaakaha ya antya prashna paripatitaha prasiddhaha. So this is recalling Prashna Upanishad. So this panchadasha meaning the number 15, ya antya prashna prashna paripatitaha prasiddhaha, which is well known as the last question, sixth question in Prashna Upanishad. There are 6 questions that the students ask that the disciples ask the Guru, and one by one Guruji answers those questions, and of that the last question, in that last question, uh, this this question was asked regarding this 15 kala, where do they merge, that question was asked. So with reference, taking reference of that, Bhashyakara is explaining that Pancha Sankhyaakaha, referring to the well known answer, that was a well known answer or question, whatever you want to take it, the well known question, the last question that was asked in Prashna Upanishad, Devaha cha Deha Ashrayaha Chakshush Adi Karanasthaha. Devaha cha meaning one who having or taking the ashraya, taking the refuge of this body, chakshush adi karanah sthaha, which are located where, in the all these different sense organs, as the all the different instruments beginning from chakshu adi, these different sense organs. So devaha are the devatas, those are abiding in this body through this karana, beginning from the various sense organs beginning from the eyes, etc., and which are sthaha, which are located in these sense organs within this body in this manner. So what about that? Devaha sarve pratidevatasu. So they go back to their respective pratidevatasu, their respective total causal devata. So like I said, the adhidevata for vision or eyes or sight goes to Aditya, etc. So in this manner they go to their respective devatas to merge into the totality. Okay, so that's the Bhashya's translation. Now coming back to any notes if I have written. So 15 kala, so whatever I have jotted down, so the 15 kala which are read or well known in the last question in Prashna Upanishad, what are those 15 kalas? It starts with prana, then shraddha, then couple of other elements are there which I have not listed, then there is tapas, then there is karma, then there is karma phala, then there is nama. These are the kalas of the individual. So in this Prashna Upanishad it is said that the kala, these kalas, they merge where? They merge into the Purusha. Here it is said, okay, so that was another doubt which perhaps in the Brahma Sutra, which I believe you guys have, you guys went through it. So in Prashna Upanishad it was said that the 15 kalas merges in Purusha. Here it says that the kala merges into its respective sources. So what is correct? So for that the Brahma Sutra was there. Both are correct, because ultimately even those respective sources are not different from Purusha. The respective sources are just a projection upon the Purusha ultimately. So that is also not incorrect. Okay. Okay, so ultimately there is nothing other than the Purusha, so that is also correct. And also the Devatas, the presiding deities which have their ashraya or abode in the body, experiencing the respective objects of experience, those occupying the body in the different sense organs, all of these reach their respective sources beginning from sun, etc. So the Prati Devata, meaning the Devata of the nature of Pratishtha. The Devatas of the nature of Pratishtha. So individual Mahabhutas merges into the total Mahabhutas. That's the idea. So Jiva Srushti merges without any trace, whereas Ishvara Srushti merges into their respective cause. What happens to the Sanchit Karma? Sanchit Karma, which has still not started to give its result, is Jiva Srushti. And those who have started is called Prarabdha. So Prarabdha is your Ishwar Srushti because it is now coming as Karma Phala from the Karma Phala Data. So that becomes Ishwara Srushti. But Sanchit Karma, which has not started to fructify and started to give its result, they are what? They are Jiva Srushti. So that that merges or that is destroyed without leaving any trace. यानि च मुमुक्षुणा कृतानि कर्माणि अप्रवृत्तफलानि प्रवृत्तफलानाम् उपभोगेन एव क्षीणत्वात्. So in all the actions performed by the mumukshu in the past, yani cha mumukshunani krutani, all the karmani, yani karmani, those actions krutani which have been performed by whom? Mumukshuna, by the mumukshu, which are apravritta phalani. What kind of karma? Apravritta phalani, which have not started to fructify. Meaning what? Sanchit karma. They get destroyed pravruttaphalanam upabhogena eva kshinatvat. But the pravruttaphalanam meaning the prarabdha karma, the karma which has started to give its result, they get exhausted only by upabhogena, by experiencing it. So in all the actions performed by the mumukshu in the past, which has not started to give its result, those karmas whose result has started, has already begun to manifest, they can be exhausted only by experiencing it. Why? Because it is Ishvara Srushti. This is Swamiji supplying it. So there are two Srushti, Pratibhasik Satta, which is Jiva, Vyavaharik Satta, which is Ishvara, and it is this Jiva Srishti, my desires and my Sankalpa that has resulted into Vyavaharik Satta. So Vyavaharik Satta is definitely a product of Pratibhasik Satta. This Jiva's Sankalpa and actions, they give rise to Vyavaharik Satta because Ishvara is like that architect. Because Ishvara is Nitya. If he starts creating, then he would become changing. So Ishvara is like an architect. Our desires and our karma as though prompts that creation in presence of Ishvara. So this Vyavaharik Satta is influenced by Jiva Srushti in this manner, but the Vyavaharik Satta itself is a product of Pratibhasik Satta, but once it becomes Vyavaharik, it is subject to the laws of Ishvara. So once that Satta changes, when does it change? Once it starts to fructify. Then it is governed by the laws of Ishvara. Therefore, with knowledge, the avaranam is destroyed. Jiva Srushti is destroyed. Jiva Srushti comes under avaranam. But the Vikshep, the Ishvara Srushti, that doesn't get destroyed. So Vikshep at individual level may be destroyed, like our Brahm, our notions, our false notions may be destroyed, but not at the total level. Meaning the projection of Ishvara will not be destroyed after knowledge. Okay, let me see how much time I have. 15 more minutes. Okay. Okay. Sorry, where am I? Sorry, just give me a second. Okay. Okay. So, okay. So, yani cha mumukshuna, this week is so. Going further, Vijnanamayascha Atma Avidyakrita Buddhi Adi. Okay, let me do Vijnanamayah cha Atma अविद्याकृतबुद्धि आदि उपाधिं आत्मत्वेन मत्वा जलादिषु सूर्यादिप्रतिबिम्बवत् इह प्रविष्टः देहभेदेषु कर्मणां तत्फल अर्थत्वात् सः तेन एव विज्ञानमयेन आत्मना अतः विज्ञानमयः विज्ञानप्रायः. So, Vijnanamaya cha Atma. This part of the mantra is being explained as Avidya Kruta Buddhi Adi Upadim Atmatvena Matva. So, on account of uh, so Vijnanamaya cha Atma. What is Vijnanamaya Atma? That is being explained. So, the Upadim, the Upadhi beginning from or consisting of, I would say beginning from Buddhi, etc., or consisting of Buddhi, Chidabhasa, the consisting of the Buddhi with the reflected consciousness, which is created because of avidyakrita, the buddhi which is avidyakrita, the buddhi which is created because of ignorance, this kind of buddhi with its reflected consciousness, this kind of upadhi, the upadhi beginning from this buddhi, and then we can take all the other upadhis, all our complexes, that also becomes upadhi. So, but to begin with, this upadhi Atmatvena Matva, one who takes that buddhi as Atma. So, what is Adi? Because we never say I am buddhi. What do we say? We try to protect our thought, right? Our notion. Uh, I am fat. I don't say I am body, but I say I am fat or I gained weight. So, in that manner, I am wrong. I failed. I succeeded. So, what is that? That is the dharmas of buddhi. So, in this manner, uh, buddhi also becomes upadhi, and because buddhi becomes upadhi, because I take myself as buddhi, uh, how do I know? Because I take the attributes of buddhi to be mine attributes. So if I fail, then if the decision of the buddhi, uh, you know, is justified to be wrong, then I feel that I fail. So in that manner, Vijnanamaya cha Atma. What is Vijnanamaya Atma? The upadhi consisting of this buddhi, etc., uh, which is created because of ignorance, uh, one who takes that buddhi as Atma, meaning the Atmatvena, uh, meaning the Atma reflected in the buddhi is taken as Atma. Okay. So basically, the one that takes the reflected consciousness as Atma. Whereas one should take consciousness as I, but instead one takes the reflected consciousness as I. Like the sun taking the reflection of sun as I. Sun not understanding that I am this sun, in whose presence this reflection is happening, and instead it takes itself to be that reflection and takes itself to be dull, takes itself to be limited, and then arises all the complexes, etc. In this same manner, I take this buddhi as Atma, and this buddhi is the upadhi of whom is taken as Atma. So just as the sun has entered variety of pools of water as reflection, so also right, jaladishu suryadi pratibimbavat, just as Surya etc., the sun etc., uh, has entered where, jaladishu, has entered in water as reflection. How? Sun having being identified with the reflection has as though entered the water. So also here, iha, here also pravishtaha, this Atma has as though entered where, here, deha bhedeshu, on account of the separation caused by the different bodies. कर्मणां तत् फलार्थत्वात् सह तेन एव विज्ञानमयेन आत्मना, अतः विज्ञानमयः कर्मणां तत् फल अर्थत्वात् सह तेन एव, on account of karmanam, on account of or of these karmas and their result. Okay, let me just go to the translation how I have explained it. So just as the sun has entered the variety of pools of water as reflection, so also Atma has entered these different upadhi as how? Reflected consciousness. This Vijnanamaya and karma gets exhausted, meaning they merge in Brahman. So when the karma merges into Brahman, the Vijnanamaya also gets merged into Brahman. Since when the karma are exhausted, then Vijnanamaya has no need to be around. Just as when the water evaporates, then reflection is not going to be anymore. And so, okay, so this is how we have to understand. So karma along with the Vijnanamaya Atma or Jivatma or the reflected consciousness merges into Brahman. Why? Because the reflecting medium is no more there. So when buddhi merges, then the karma and the karma phala is part of, they are associated with the buddhi. Now when there will be no buddhi, then where is the question of the karma and the karma phala which are hanging on to that buddhi, that antakaran, that reflecting medium. So just as when the water does not remain, the reflection also does not remain. So also when the buddhi merges back into Brahman, then these karmas which were the product of buddhi on account of ignorance and the karma phala which were also the product of ignorance, they also do not remain because karma and karma phala were byproducts. So they do not remain. So Chidabhasa is called here, reflected consciousness is called here Vijnanamaya, and that merges. And so when this merges, when the buddhi along with its reflected consciousness merges, or when the buddhi merges, then reflected consciousness will also merge. When there is no water, then there will be no reflection of sun. Antahkarana will continue until there is need for enjoying karma phala, meaning prarabdha. So it is not that the antahkarana will vanish once you have knowledge. Why? Because it is part of Ishvara Sushti. So, antahkarana will remain until the prarabdha which is part of Ishvara Srishti continues, Antakaran will continue, and until there is need for enjoying karma phala, meaning until the prarabdha is still to be exhausted. But what we should understand is predominance of consciousness or knowledge. Vijnana Mayaha is what? Vijnana Prayaha, right? That was what it was. Ataha Vijnanamayaha. Therefore, by Vijnanamayaha, what should you understand? So, Vijnanamayaha should be understood not as dominance, modification of consciousness, but we should understand it as predominance of consciousness or knowledge. So, Buddhi is called Vijnanamaya because it has predominance of consciousness. Okay. So, last sentence of Bhashyakara, Te ete karmani, all these karma, which karmas? The Sanchita karma, which has not begun to give rise its result, Vijnanamaya cha Atma, and the Vijnanamaya Upadhi Upanayane Sati. So, when there is elimination of the Upadhi, so these karma, Sanchit karma, which has not begun to give result, to give rise to its result, this Atma consisting of Buddhi and reflected consciousness. So, Vijnanamaya Atma. This Atma, which is Vijnanamaya, which is the Buddhi along with its reflected consciousness, Upadhi Upanaye Sati. When this Upadhi merges back or is eliminated, where Pare Avyaye, in the Para, in the Supreme, which is Avyaya, which is indestructible, which is unchanging, which is Anante, which does not have an end, which is Akshaya, which is imperishable. What is that? Brahmani. So, in that Brahman, so when this Upadhi is eliminated or it gets merged, it merges back into Brahma. Akasha kalpe aje ajare amrute abhaye apurve anapare anantare abahye advaye shive shante sarve eki bhavanti. Then everything becomes one. So, all the particulars, they dissolve into one commonality, one generality. Now, let us see how Swamiji has explained. So, these karmas, and then further also Bhashya tells, but we will go little by little. So, these karmas which has not begun to give rise to its result, these Atma consisting of Vijnanamaya Atma, consisting of Buddhi and reflected consciousness, just as when water is no more, comparing to the previous, or actually going to the last, Sarve Eki Bhavanti, then Avisheshatam Gachanti. So, Visheshatam, Avisheshatam Gachanti. Bhashyakara is not telling Visheshatam anywhere, I am supplying it, okay. So, what does Sarve Eki Bhavanti mean? What does it mean that all of this karma, Sanchit karma, along with the Buddhi and reflected consciousness become one? What does that one mean? Karmas are many, and this Vijnanamaya, we feel that there are many thoughts in the Buddhi, so there is manyness. So, how does it become one? So, right now, that which is prevalent as some Visheshata, some particularization, that goes back into, that merges back, it drops its Visheshata, the particularization, and in that way that commonness remains. The substratum, which is one, just as one consciousness, one awareness is the basis for all our thoughts, all our emotions. So also oneness, this one substratum remains. Just as jala adi adi adhara apanaye, when there is elimination of this substratum, the adhara, like water, because of which the sun's reflection is visible, when that water is eliminated or evaporated, then Surya, where does the reflection go? Surya. It becomes one with Surya. It goes back into its source. Or Ghatadi Apanayah, when the Upadhi of Ghata etc. is destroyed, then what happens to the Ghatakasha? It goes back into Akasha. So, does it really go back? Well, only the false notion that Ghatakasha was different from Akasha, that no longer remains, because it was the Upadhi that was creating this standpoint of pot space. It was giving us an illusion of pot space. So, that illusion no longer remains. That's the idea. Okay, I'll read the translation. So this karma which has not begun to give rise to its result, this Atma consisting of buddhi and reflected consciousness, just as when water is no more, reflection merges into image, so also when Upadhi of 15 kalas has merged into its respective sources, the so-called jiva uh, merges into Brahman. How? Like the part space merges into space, meaning there is no gati involved here, only recognition. So that which is supreme, supreme is what? Pare. That which is supreme, then avyaye, inexhaustible, anante, imperishable, undecaying, comparable to space, akashakalpe, meaning which is comparable to space, which is all pervasive, and which is what? This Brahma is how? So Brahman is how? It is comparable to Akasha. In what sense? Because Brahman is also all pervasive, just like the space. And then it is Ajay. It is the one which is unborn. Why it is called Ajay? Because into this Ajay, Ajaha is the word, but Ajay is the seventh vibhakti to indicate that all these karmas and Vijnanamaya Atma merges into this Brahman, which has all these characteristics, which is Ajaha, which is birthless, unborn, which is Ajaraha, which is what is Ajara, which does not have this all sixfold decrepitude. Then which is Amrutaha, which is immortal, which is Abhaya, which is fearless, which is Apurve, which does not have a cause, Anapare, which does not have an effect, Anantare, which is not, which is formless, that also we have to take. Decrepitude was Ajare, which is Anantare, which is one without cause or effect, and therefore not, which is not within, Anantare, which is not within, and Abahya, then is it outside? No, it is also not outside, because in this Brahman there are no concept of within and without. Advaye, which is non-dual. Shive, which is auspicious, which is Shantaha, which is tranquil. So there is nothing other than that, therefore there is no within and without. Sarve eki bhavanti. So in this kind of Brahman, that is like this, everything merges. So just like water pours into water, or water pours into, not pours into water, that was right. So just like a river pours into ocean, so what is happening? Water is pouring into water. Uh, so basically it loses its distinction. So individual existence basically no longer remains. सर्वे एकीभवन्ति meaning the avisheshatam gachanti, ekatvam apadyante, individual or particularities they do not remain anymore. So loses its separate identification and gets identified with the total. How? Just like the substrate, when the substratum of water is removed, the reflection of sun merges into the sun, and when the pot is destroyed, the pot space merges into the total space, meaning it loses its distinction. So abiding in Brahman is a growing process. When there is a constant effort of giving up individuality, then we grow towards our goal, and this is called Videha Mukti. What is Videha Mukti? Constant effort of giving up individuality, because of which we will grow towards our goal. Actually, that is Jivan Mukti. And then that alone, so Jivan Mukti is a process, Videha Mukti is just a consequence. But that whole thing is because there is technically no difference of Videha Mukti and Jivan Mukti from the standpoint of a wise, and therefore this mukti, this kind of mukti is a growing process. How? So for that now an example is given. Yatha nadyascendamana samudre astam gachanti nama rupe vihaya tatha vidvan nama rupad vimuktah parat param purusham divyam. Okay. So yatha nadyah, just as Chandamanaha Nadyah, the flowing rivers, Samudre Astam, they disappear in the ocean. How? Nama Rupe Vihaya, Astam Gachanti, they set in the ocean. Nama Rupe Vihaya, giving up its identity, giving up its individuality of I am such and such Ganga river, I am Yamuna river. Giving up its individuality, it merges into the ocean. Tatha, so also Vidwan, the wise, Nama Rupat Vimuktah, who is free from name and form, meaning who is free from this individuality that I am such and such, Vimuktah, who is in this manner free, Parat Param Purusham Upaiti Divyam. He attains that Purusha, he attains that Brahman. Kincha Yatha, moreover, Yatha Nadyah of the mantra is explained as what kind of rivers? Ganga Adayah. Just as all the rivers beginning from Ganga etc. or like Ganga etc. Sandamanaha Gachantyah, which are flowing. Samudre Samudram Prapya, which attains the ocean or merges into the ocean. Astam means what? Adarshanam, Avishesha Atma Bhavam, which loses its distinction as I am Ganga. All that kind of distinction does not remain any longer. Their individuality becomes indistinguishable. All of them are known as what? Once Ganga merges into ocean, all distinctions are lost, and then only one water body, namely ocean, remains. So Atmabhavam gachanti praptuvantim nama cha rupam cha nama rupe. Name and form, that which is name, that which has name as well as form, is called name and form. Tad vihaya, giving up that name and form, hitva meaning giving up. So how does it attain oneness with the ocean? How does Ganga river and the other rivers attain oneness with the ocean? By giving up that nama rupa, nama rupe vihaya, having giving up that individuality that I am such and such. I cannot become one with Brahman retaining my individuality that I am Pushti, I am woman, I am whatever, 50 years old, 40 years old, 50 years old, 45 years old. So entertaining all these nama rupa and associated attributes, I can never become one. So that attaining oneness can happen only when I give up that individuality. Furthermore, tatha, and also moreover, avidya-krita nama rupat vimuktah san, the one who is like this, who has given up the name and form which are a result of, or which are creation of avidya, ignorance, vidwan parat aksharat purvoktat param divyam purusham upayati. One attains this vidwan parat, parat meaning aksharat, purvoktat, vidwan upayati, one he attains parat param, the parat param, he attains the akshara which is as mentioned above. The name and form is created by ignorance. So that I should have a particular name and form brings about a tangible upadhi to enjoy. So this solid upadhi, tangible upadhi, right, creates a notion of what? Tangibility, that it is really there, that it is real existence. But that reality is only notional. Existence is real, but the reality given to name and form is only notional. So becoming free from identity of name and form, this wise attains total identity with Parama Purushaha. I'm going to read it again so that I have not missed anything. So and moreover, just as the rivers like Ganga etc., which are flowing attains the ocean, their individuality becomes indistinguishable. All of them are known now as what? Ocean. Imaginary thing. So what is destroyed? Only imaginary avidya-krita nama rupat vimuktah san. He becomes free from only the imaginary notions, the nama rupa, which were a creation of ignorance, that alone is vimuktah san, that he becomes one who has given up, he becomes a person who has given up this avidya krita nama rupa, the name and form created by ignorance. So that I should have a particular name and form brings about a tangible upadhi to enjoy. Okay, that we saw. This solid upadhi creates a notion of tangibility, that it is a real existence. But that reality is also notional. So becoming free from identity of name and form, this wise attains total identity with Parama Purushaha. But I'm going to, so the last sentence, Vimuktah san, Vidwan, such a wise person, what happens to that? Parat Param Divyam Purusham Upayati. He attains that Divya Purusha, who is Parat Param, who is more superior than Paraha. Paraha meaning Aksharaha. meaning which akshara? Maya. So that I think I have forgotten to translate that. So Purvokta in the very first Khanda, Mundaka 1, where it was said Aksharat Param. So that Akshara is brought here. So he attains that Param Divyam, that supreme divine Brahman, Purusha or limitless, which whose characteristics has been said before earlier in so many mantras in even the earlier khanda, uh, and which is parat param, which is more superior than even the akshara, then the maya, then the unmanifest, then the avyakta, meaning then the cause. It transcends even the idea of cause and effect, so that this vidwan attains, recognizes himself as I am neither the cause nor the effect. I am the one in whose presence this play of cause and effect gets projected. Okay, further, सयोह वै तत्परमं ब्रह्मवेद ब्रह्मैव भवति नास्य ब्रह्मवित् कुले भवति. Okay. सयोह वै तत्परमं ब्रह्म वेद ब्रह्मैव भवति नास्या ब्रह्मवित् कुले भवति तरति शोकं तरति पाप्मानं गुहाग्रन्थिभ्यो विमुक्तो मृतो भवति. सह यह, whoever he is, ha is indeed vai, tat paramam brahma veda, who knows this parama brahma, who knows that parama brahma, brahma eva bhavati, he becomes brahma. The knower of brahma becomes brahma. Why? Because it is like the 10th man, the knower of 10th man becoming 10th man. Why? Because he is the 10th man and he has forgotten that he is the 10th man. So it is praptasya prapti. Therefore, it is the attainment of already attained. So nothing to be created. So the proposition, so Brahma eva tat paramam Brahma veda, having known this Brahman, one becomes Brahman. Asya, and then phalam is mentioned. In the family of such a wise, na asya brahmavit kule bhavati, abbrahmavit kule bhavati. In the clan of this wise person, nobody remains without knowing Brahman, either in his progeny or in his shishya gana, in his disciples. Tarati shokam, tarati papmanam, all of them, he as well as all of them in his kula, they cross the ocean of grief, and tarati papmanam, and they cross the papas, they cross both the punya and papa, meaning they cause the very seed which gives rise to the next embodiment, the next birth. Gruha grantibhyah vimuktah. How? Because now he has become free from the granthis, from the avidya janita granthi, from the knots of the heart, which so far he had been entertaining in the, or hidden in the guha, hidden in the intellect, hidden in the mind. From all those granthis, from all those complexes, he becomes muktaha, he becomes free, and therefore amrutaha bhavati, and therefore recognizes himself as immortal. So amrutaha bhavati is amrutaha recognition is happening, that I am amrutaha, that recognition is happening. So no becoming is involved, only the recognition. So whoever he is, one who comes to know that Param Brahma, he becomes Brahma. Not only he has become, but as Param Brahma, but in his family, Shishya or progeny, there is no one who will not know Brahman. He crosses all the grief, all the sins, and having become free from the knots of the heart, the wise becomes immortal. ननु श्रेयसी अनेके विघ्नाः प्रसिद्धाः अतः क्लेशानाम् अन्यतमेन अन्येन वा देवादिना च विघ्नितः ब्रह्मविद् अपि अन्यां गतिं मृतः गच्छति न ब्रह्म एव न विद्यया एव सर्वप्रतिबन्धस्य अपनीतत्वात्. प्रश्न क्वेश्चन. ननु we say whenever somebody is doing anything good, then these devatas, they put some vignas. So also after the Brahmavid departs from the body, can there be no obstacles? And no, Shreyasi Aneke Vignaha, because we have heard, it is well known, Prasiddhaha, that whenever somebody is trying to do something Shreyas, something good, then Aneke Vignaha, then there are lot of obstacles. Ataha Kleshanam Anyatam Anyatamena Anyena Va Devadina Cha Vignitaha Brahmavit Api Anyam Gatim Mrutah Gachanti Na Brahma Eva. So also will that person, will that Brahmavit also not have these vignas? By whom? Devadina, by the gods or by something else. Will he not have those kind of vignas? So what possible obstacles are there? The 5 klesha, the kleshanam. What are the 5 klesha? Avidya, Asmita, Raga, Dvesha, Abhinivesha. So if they are there, then what would happen? Then Atma or Brahman would become Anitya, or if Asmita is there, Ashuchi, or Dukkha will happen. So all these, okay, sorry. So the 5 klesha are avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha and abhinivesha. And so Swamiji said anitya, ashuchi, dukkha, anatma, all this is adhyasa that is being projected upon atma. This adhyasa, okay, so Swamiji was differentiating how what we call avidya in Vedanta is what is called adhyasa in Sankhya. This is just by the way. So this 5 klesha, Prashna is, this 5 klesha, would it not come in his way from merging into Brahman? Or the Devatas may bring obstacles as they feel threatened. Will that not happen? So answer is no. Why? Avidya pratibandha matrah hi mokshah न अन्य प्रतिबंधः नित्यत्वात् आत्मभूतत्वात् च. Moksha is already, so sorry, the translation of this thing is I should have bumped that sentence above where you see the answer as no. Actually, let me look at the previous sentence. So up till eva is the prashna, atah kleshanam anyatamena anyena va. So will he not have kleshas, obstacles from either the fivefold klesha or the different devatas? Then the answer is na vidyaya eva sarva pratibandhasya apanitatvat. No, it will not happen. Why? Because by knowledge alone will remain all the possible obstacles. So that is, now we are seeing into that. Bhashyakara is explaining it further as what? Avidya pratibandha matrahi mokshah na anya pratibhataha. So moksha is already an attained fact. It's only because of ignorance, and ignorance was the only obstacle in way of moksha. There is no other obstacle. So that's the actual translation. So avidya was the only obstacle in way of moksha, and there is no other obstacle. Why? Because moksha is nityatvat. It is always present. It is not something to be created. And because it is atma bhutatvat, and it is not something away from me. It is my very self. So, it is not possible that this wise person will have this kind of obstacles. So, because ignorance is the only obstacles between me and moksha, and therefore ignorance being removed, all the obstacles will be removed. There will be no further additional obstacles. So, there is no other obstacle. Moksha being nitya and not subject to time, it is right now already an accomplished fact and in the form of the very self. तस्मात् सः यः कश्चित् ह वै लोके तत्परमं ब्रह्म वेद साक्षात् अहम् एव अस्मि इति जानाति सः नान्यां गतिं गच्छति. So tasmat, that being the case, saha yaha, that being the case, meaning what? That there can be no obstacle between me and Brahman once the ignorance is removed, because I am Brahman. There is no physical distance between me and Brahman. This being the case, therefore what? Saha vai. Because this is being well known, therefore the yaha kaschita, so whosoever, that is how I should have translated, yaha kaschita, whosoever loke tat paramam brahma veda, whosoever knows this paramam brahman, or that paramam brahma, veda means knows, in this world, or in this world or while alive, here and now. How? Sakshat, intimately. How? Aham eva asmiti, that Brahman I am. In this manner, when that person recognizes, knows, saha nanyam gatim na anyam gatim gacchati, then that person will not attain any other gati. He will have to then there will be no gati for him, no other gati for him. He doesn't have any other gati, or he doesn't have to go anywhere else. देवैः अपि तस्य ब्रह्म प्राप्तिं प्रति विघ्नः न शक्यते कर्तुम् आत्मा हि येषां सह भवति. देवैः अपि, even the devatas, tasya brahma praptim prati vignaha na shakyate kartum. They cannot bring obstacles because he is also Brahman. Because he is the self of even the devatas. So he is already Brahman. So one thing is that he is already Brahman. It is not a matter of becoming, that he will become something and then devatas will try to bring an obstacle. So that is one reason. Second reason, he is even the self of the devatas. So where is the question of the, if you are the self of the devatas, why would devatas oppose their own self? So for both these reasons, the devatas will not bring any obstacles in his path. Tasmat brahma vidvan brahmaiva bhavati. Therefore the knower of the Brahman becomes Brahman because he is already a Brahman. It is just a matter of recognition. Last sentence, kincha, and moreover, na asya vidushah, of this wise person, abrahmavit kule bhavati. Nobody remains a brahmavit without knowing Brahman. Kincha, and moreover, tarati shokam, and all of them, they crosses the grief. What kind of grief? Anek ishta vaikalya nimittam, yeah, अनेक इष्ट वैकल्य निमित्तं मानसं संतापम. So when we do not get various desired objects, then the the agitation that we experience in our mind, these kind of grief no longer remain. Santapa jivata eva atikranta bhavanti. He transcends all these kind of grief while alive. He doesn't have to wait for death. He transcends this. And tarati papmanam, he crosses what? Papmanam, meaning he crosses both dharma and dharma akhyam papmanam. He crosses both the cause of samsara, the cause of another birth, which is both a punya karma and papa karma. So the dharma and adharma karma will create this adrushta, which is either punya. For good actions you get adrushta called punya, and for bad actions or not actions not keeping with dharma, which are done, which has adharma in it, they create this adrushta called papa. So he crosses both this punya and papa. So while the mantra says papa alone, but we have to understand it crosses both punya and papa, because even if only punya is there, then he would take birth, but he no longer has to take birth. So therefore by papa you have to understand both papa and punya. Gruha grantibhyah. So this granthi, which is in the form of hridaya avidya grantibhyah, the knots of the heart, the knots within the heart, basically the complexes, basically atma anatma viveka, that is the knot being talked about. Vimukta san, by becoming free from this confusion of mutual imposition of the characteristics of atma upon anatma and the characteristics of anatma upon atma, being free from it and being able to clearly distinguish what is atma, what is anatma, and thus becoming free from all the notions, amrutah bhavati, he gains immortality. Iti uktam eva vidyate hridaya granthi ityadi. And this has also been said in the mantra vidyate hridaya granthi ityadi. So I'll just read the translation once more if I have missed any of the points that Swamiji may have highlighted. So, and moreover, in his family, meaning both progeny or shishyas, no one goes back without knowledge of Brahman, either today or tomorrow. That samskara continues. And moreover, he crosses the ocean of grief. What is the grief? It is the mental state, the santapa, caused by losing something which is dear to me. And he crosses the grief when? Not after death, while he is alive. So no santapa, because there is no doership, and being objective, he is able to resolve everything. So papa does not touch him, and he crosses both punya and papa. Both dharma and adharma being factors which give rise to birth, and thus becoming obstacle to my abiding in Brahman. Therefore, both are said to be papa here. So atma anatma granthi, and becoming free from all other complexes, he becomes free, meaning immortal. So then going on to the next mantra, we are almost towards the end. Okay. So I'm just going to complete it. Tadetat tadetadruchabhya tadetadruchabhyah uktam. So now this with this respect, this mantra is said. This ruchaha are being said. What is it? क्रियावन्तः श्रोत्रिया ब्रह्मनिष्ठाः स्वयं जुह्वते एकर्षिं श्रद्धयन्तः तेषामेवैतां ब्रह्मविद्यां वदेत शिरोव्रतः विधिवत् यैस्तु चीर्णम्. So now तद् क्रियावन्तः श्रोत्रियाः ब्रह्मनिष्ठाः स्वयं जुह्वते एकर्षिं श्रद्धयन्तः. So this procedure about imparting Brahma Vidya has been stated by Rig Mantra. What is that? To them alone one should impart Brahma Vidya. To those who are doing their Nitya Karma, Kriyavantaha, doing their Nitya Karma, and Shrotriyaha, having studied their part of Vedas, respective part of Vedas, and Brahmanishtaha, who are devoted to Lord, and all of them having with Shraddha offer oblation in the fire, Ekarshim Shraddhayantaha. With Shraddha they do this Yaga Karma. They worship this fire, which is called Ekarshim here. Juhvate, giving up the oblations in that fire. How? Doing it with Shraddha. Tesham eva, who are devoted to Lord, who are devoted to the Lord, and all of them with Shraddha offer oblation in the fire called Ekarshi. And finally, by whom, according to the injunction, this Shirovrata, Shirovrata Vidivat Yaistu Chirnam, this Shirovrata Vrata, meaning carrying fire with them whenever they go for study, this has been carried out. To these kind of disciplined students alone, this Brahma Vidya should be imparted. So restriction is being explained, is being put. So Bhasya says, Atha idanim Brahma Vidya Sampradana Vidhi Upapradarshanena Upasamhara Kriyate. So now the injunction of now the injunction is given in how to impart or to whom to impart this Brahma Vidya. The code of conduct which must the code of conduct which must be followed, not given, but which must be followed in imparting the teaching, that is being given. And the text is concluded by showing us this code of conduct. So thus knowledge must not be imparted to anybody and everybody, but only it should be imparted in a very specific manner. Tadetat meaning Vidya Sampradana Vidhanam, that which is imparted in this manner, this knowledge which is imparted in this manner through Sampradana, through the Guru Parampara, Rucha. By this mantra, Abhiyuktam, Abhiprakashitam is specified. This the stipulation pertaining to imparting of knowledge is revealed by this mantra. Kriyavantaha meaning Yatha Ukta Karma Anusthana Yuktaha, those who are performing the Nitya Naimittik Karma as per the Shastras. So who are doing the Anusthana, who are implementing according to what is being said. Those who have been following diligently the Nitya Naimittik Karma as per the scriptures. Then Shrotriyaha and Brahmanishta Aparasmin Brahmani Aviyuktaha Param Brahma Babhutsabha. So those who have studied their respective branch of Vedas. Those who abide in Brahman, those who are doing meditation upon Apara Brahma. Aparasmin Brahmani, they are doing meditation upon Apara Brahma. And Param Brahma Bubutsabaha. They have this Bubutsa, Bodhum Icha. They are desirous to know Param Brahma. By this preparation of doing meditation upon Apara Brahma, their mind is ready, and they also have they are not stopped there. They have not stopped there, but they are also desirous of Param Brahma. Swayam Ekarshim Ekarshi Namanam Agnim. So those who tend this fire called Ekarshi, who are fire worshippers, Shraddhayantaha, meaning Shraddhanaha Santaha Ye, who are doing this with Shraddha, who are offering this oblation with having Shraddha. Tesham Tava Sanskrita Atmanam. In this manner, these kind of Samskrita fit, who has this samskaras, to them alone who have samskaras, Patra Bhutanam Etam, who are fit, who have proper samskaras of proper thinking, etc., who have pure mind, those who are fit in this manner, Etam Brahma Vidyam Vadeta, to them alone this Brahma Vidya should be Vadeta, meaning said, Bruyat, it should be said. This knowledge should be given only to these kind of fit students. The knowledge of Brahman which is presented in this Upanishad should be given only to these kind of fit students. Shirovratam, meaning Shirasya Agni Dharanam Lakshanam, having this characteristic of carrying fire on their head. So Swamiji said that, this sentence of carrying fire on the head, it signifies that how much fire was revered, or how much the seeker reveres that fire. Shows a development of Shraddha on their part. Yatha Atharvarnanam Veda Vratam Prasiddham, just as is well known as the Vrata of Veda among the followers of Atharva Veda, or Shirovrata, following the order of Guru. Okay, further, Yaistu Yaischa Tat Chirnam Vidivat Yatha Vidanam Teshameva Vadeta, and those who have been performing this Vratam as stipulated, to them alone this Brahma Vidya should be imparted. And I believe this is the last mantra. Tadetat Satyam Rushimangira Purovacha Naitat Chirnavrato Dhite Namah Paramarushibhyah Namah Paramarushibhyah Tadetat Satyam. Okay, that's that. So by Namah Paramarushibhyah being twice, it concludes the Upanishad. So tad etat satyam Rushihi Angiraha Pura Uvacha Na etat Achina Vrataha Adite Namah Paramarushibhyah Namah Paramarushibhyah. So this satyam, tad etat satyam, which the Rushi Angira told to Shaunaka Pura earlier, which is coming down from Parampara Achina Vrataha Adite, which should not be imparted to one who has not followed this Shirovrata. Achirna Vrataha. So those who have not followed this Vrata, to them it should na adite, it should not be given. So our salutation to the great sages, our salutation to the great. So the earlier mantra said to whom it should be given, this mantra says to whom it should not be given. Tadetat meaning what? Aksharam Purusham, that Aksharam Purusham, which is what? Satyam, absolute reality. Rishi Angiraha, meaning that the Rishi by that name. Pura, meaning earlier. Shaunakaya, Vidivata Upasannaya Prishtavate. He gave this Vidya, that Rishi Angira, who gave this Vidya to Shaunak, who had approached him properly and who had asked this question. What about him? So this Aksharam Purusham, which is Satyam, Rishi Angira is the name of whom in olden days imparted this to Shaunaka, who approached him properly and had asked for that truth. Tadvat Anyaha api तथा एव श्रेयस अर्थिने मुमुक्षुवे मोक्ष अर्थम विधिवत उपसन्नाय ब्रूयात् इत्यर्थः. So just as Angiras imparted to fit student, in the same manner those desirous of Shreyas arthine mumukshave. So mumukshavaha, those desirous of moksha, those desirous of their Shreyas, for their well-being, who have Vidivat Upasannaya, who have approached the teacher duly with all sincerity, with proper conduct, to him also knowledge should be imparted. Bruyat, it should be imparted. Na etat grantha rupam achirna rupam achirat vratah api adite na patati. So this text of knowledge, so this text in the form of knowledge, in the form of this knowledge in the form of this text, this is how I should have translated, should not be imparted. Na achirna vratah is a person who has not performed this vrata, should not be imparted to the one who have not performed Shirovratah and the associated stipulations for that Vratahas. What are there? For any Vratas, Swamiji explained that there are many rules, what you should do, what you should not do. So those persons who are not following that, to them this should not be taught. Chirna vratasya hi videya phalaya samskrita bhavati iti. Why? Because this knowledge becomes effective or fruitful only to those who are fit with these samskaras. Samaptaha brahma vidya sa yepyah brahmadipyah paramparyam kramena samprapta tebhyah nama parama rushibhyah. So now this brahma vidya has very well come down to us through this Guru Shishya Parampara, beginning from Brahmaji. Brahmadipyah, from beginning from Brahmaji, sa Brahma Vidya, yebhyah Brahmadipyah, this Brahma Vidya which has very well come down from Brahma, etc. How? Paramparya, by the parampara of Guru Shishya Parampara, by that samprapta, which is very well obtained, tebhyah, to that Guru Parampara, my salutation. Namah Parama Rushibhyah. Namah Parama Rushibhyah. In this manner, the knowledge of Brahman is concluded. Paramam Brahma Sakshat दृष्टवन्तः ये ब्रह्मादयः अवगतवन्तः च ते परमऋषयः तेभ्यः भूयः अपि नमः. द्विवचनार्थं द्विर्वचनम् अत्यादरार्थं मुण्डकसमाप्ति अर्थञ्च. So Parama Rishis, those who know Param, meaning Brahman, and Rishi, and who are Rishi, meaning those who know this directly, to them our salutations again and again. for reverence it is, so last dvivachanartham is for reverence, it is repeated again, and it also shows completion of the text. So Paramam Brahma Sakshat Drashtavantah, that who is able to see it directly, Ye Brahmadayah Avagatavantah, who are knowers of this Brahman, to those Paramarushis, our salutation. In this way, the final khanda is also completed. Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.